guys, welcome back to the channel, and today is a Let's Talk video, and as it is every Sunday, or hasn't been for a while, but it is again, and today I want to talk about, we'll see from the title, but about education and not having a degree. So a lot of these Let's Talk videos, I have to admit, they're always about personal experience. And I feel like that is important because it's the only way that I can really get a point across, because it's the only way that I actually know anything about. I'll give you some context. So I was always quite bright at school. I wasn't the most clever, but I certainly wasn't unintelligent. I think I'm very middle of the road and always have been. And although maybe just slightly above, both my parents have really high IQs, and my brother does as well. So it's not like I'm letting the side down or anything. But yeah, I was always very capable at school, and I knew that if I put my mind to something, I could really do something well. So the thing that I loved the most, though, was music. I don't talk about music very much, but I absolutely loved music. It was my life. I used to wake up thinking I was going to be a pop star, and that was it. I really, really, truly believed that that was the road that I was going to take. Needless to say, when I got to about 18, I realised that that wasn't the road. I still enjoyed it, but I just felt like actually that wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want it enough for me to actually go out and get it. So that sort of ended that. Anyway, I did GCSEs and I took music and I took history, I think, and graphics. Gosh, I can't even remember. Anyway, so I took those subjects and I came out with basically all C's across the board, apart from I got B in music, which is average. C is average. It's not like the best at all. And that was without trying. I never did any coursework, and I really regret that. One thing I struggle with is coursework. If I'm given and I still struggle with this, so writing anything that is researched and then put together, I struggle with. However, I have information in my head, and when I was put into an environment of an exam, I actually used to flourish. So the reason I got C's is through my exams. That's the only way. So the baccalaureate probably would have suited me, although I still think it's right that they break it down into sections personally, but and because it suits everybody else. But it did suit me. I was fine with that. I used to flourish under pressure, and still do. If I've got pressure, I can get stuff done, you know, and really good stuff, really good work. So I did decide to continue on to A-levels. I wanted to stay in education, and to be honest, I was quite a naive teenager. When I was 15, obviously, my dad died. I'm not going to talk about that this time, but my dad did die, and I think it just put me, I just didn't get why I was sort of here. It really made mortality real, and I think a lot of that was reflected in my studies and what I cared about, because I didn't care. I didn't care about studying. I didn't care because to me, I could die tomorrow, so what was the point? And I've gone through life a bit like that since, because I used to spend money terrible habit of spending money because I could die tomorrow. That was always the feeling. And I think that's fair enough. You know, I think that's a fair thing to do when you've lost a parent at that age. Anyway, decided to continue on to university. It was easier for mum, you know, it's still free education. So carried up, not university, onto A-levels, and I did music, drama and English. And I actually came out with very poor results. And the reason being, there's two reasons. At the end of the first year, I never went. I ended up not going to school. I ended up just going out with friends towards the end. I just didn't go to school. I wasn't enjoying it. And I sort of took myself out of school, and actually, you know, that was quite bad. But I decided that that wasn't what I wanted with my life. And I think a lot of that stemmed from I was hanging around with a load of people and they weren't great for me. And lots of them were getting pregnant, and I was freaking out because that is not what I wanted from my life. I did not want to be a teenage mum, and there's nothing against them, just so you know, but that wasn't the route that I wanted. So I decided to take myself back to school. I went and saw my teachers and said, look, you know, I'm sorry, I've not been here, but I really want to take this seriously next year. And I really got stuck in, but I really lost a lot of points for not being there and a lot of information. So when it came to the exams, I could only give what I could give. I was predicted to fail, basically. And in the end, I got 2 Ds and an E, which was higher than I was predicted, but it wasn't very good. But I did think to myself, I want to get out of this town. I want to get out of Stevenage and move to another place. So I ended up deciding to go to a university called Liverpool Hope University. And it was the furthest university that I go to, and it had the course that I wanted to do, which was theatre studies and music. I ended up going for 10 months and I absolutely hated it. I wasn't ready. I had no money. My mum had no money. It was the most horrendous time ever. I got myself into lots of debt, which you do, and I just could not see the wood for the trees. I hated being in debt, and I just felt like I wasn't making the right friends, because everybody, I don't know how they managed it. Everybody used to go out shopping. They used to be able to spend their student loan on everything else other than studying, whereas I had to spend my student loan on where I lived, and I had £58 to last me. Once I'd paid my student loan for that few months, I literally had something like 58 quid to last me for the rest of the semester. That was ridiculous. I had no help from my mum. She could not give me help, and it put me in a very difficult position, which meant that I decided after 10 months, I didn't even complete the first year, I had to leave. I was miserable. I moved back to Stevenage. I knew I was bright enough, but I couldn't work out what I wanted with my life. And I felt like it was, if I had my time again, I would definitely have gone on an apprenticeship. I think that would have suited me down to a T. Earning and learning is definitely something I should have done. So I ended up going into a job, because the one thing that my mum had said to me is like, I don't mind that you've not continued, it doesn't bother me. You get to choose your future, but you cannot live here and not have a job. And that obviously pushed me into a job. So I got a job, and from that day I didn't stop working, whether that was in a temp role or I have not stopped working. So as you might know, I have currently been given notice of my job, and for me, that is the hardest thing I've ever been through. I've never not had a day of work. Obviously, I've taken holidays, but never have I ever taken any time off in between jobs, anything like that. It terrifies me. I've always worked. I love the corporate world. I love the jobs that I've done. I've loved learning to do the jobs that I've done myself. I've worked bloody hard to get where I am. The point of this Let's Talk is to say that had I been at university, I would have come out with a shed ton of debt, and I would have had a degree though in music and drama, and but I would have been in the same place I am now, maybe not even. The thing that I'm struggling with now is that I'm being asked for a degree. I'm asked if I'm educated to degree level, and I'm not, but I've been in business since I was 18, 19, and how old am I now? 35. So a long time. So I feel like it's really hindering me. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think. I'd like you to let me know if you're struggling, if you got a degree, if you found it useful, and if you, let me know your journey. Comment down below, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye guys. So I have been using different bronzer over the last couple of weeks, but it does go into my weekly makeup basket very regularly because it is a great product.